The
Live.
whole first floor
Okay.
of my house. So,
Hey guys, we're going
I
live
live
in
in-
about a minute here, so
Okay.
hang in there.
so
Yeah, I think it's just before. It's kind of a weird area over there.
well, when they built that development, Comcast came in and wanted exclusivity.
Right.
So a lot of people, and then Comcast was giving our HOA some money back each
Oh, really?
quarter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were doing that, and
Are those condos exclusive to Comcast? Is that what you're talking
they were. Now there's DirecTV, there's Dish,
Yeah,
there's
AT&T.
AT&T.
Yeah, right.
I don't see why you couldn't. It's 'cause
They'd have to overbuild it like we are downtown. Well, because all of our stuff runs in on the poles usually, or
Mhm.
underground depending on where it comes. So you have to have enough space on the poles to put up our wiring. We'd have to drop like probably some fiber nodes in the ground over there. Just depends. Like
I mean, we've
this
got-
medical clinic plaza down here on Monroe Street, right before the Walmart that's out of business.
Yeah.
That whole place we just got another project approved for. Thanks.
Oh, good. Because
They were exclusive too to Comcast, but it was like we were after that, just north on Monroe Street in Cole and Stewart.
well, there's people around. I mean,
Yeah.
I
sitting here right
I
here.
think that it's silly.
She got really
You're really
ugly. All of a sudden
rude.
she turned into Greg.
You know me, I'm a prima donna.
Well, there's
Do
something.
I need a mic?
Did you get my rider that I requested for the show?
I don't
All
do
green
riders.
M&Ms in a bowl?
All green? No,
All green?
green
Gotta
or
pick 'em
dyed.
out.
You want brown because chocolate is brown.
Like the Bon Jovi of radio shows?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his rider? There's a website
Yeah.
where you can look at people's riders.
Oh,
for, like,
trust me.
musicians and
Yeah.
actors.
Oh, they're writers.
They're riders, so it's like what they request for food and drink and stuff in their
Oh.
green
And,
room.
and what
Yeah,
temperature
yeah.
their green room
Yeah,
has to be.
yeah.
I need Fiji at 47 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Fiji
It's
water.
pretty funny, actually.
It
My
is.
daughter is a promoter and she signs lots of bands in
Oh, you
Detroit.
probably know them.
And she's like, okay, here's a new one. I need, where can I get monkey food? I go, well, I think that's a question you ask
Wow.
them. What
Was it
preferred?
Ace Ventura?
Yeah, it was just,
It was
just
like Michael Jackson before he died.
Oh my
Where do I get giraffe food?
god.
it was, yeah, some of them are interesting.
Creepy.
But anyway, yeah,
1 minute.
I'm the president of the HOA. We have 102 units. We're open to,
Wow. So that's all residential, right? See, that's where it's like I have a thin line and a fine line, and now more red tape thrown on me, where like I could sell business service to someone at their house. I have to prove that it's going to be used for business, though.
it is, yeah,
But
it is. Yeah.
in your case, but maybe potentially, but for the rest of those, I wouldn't even be.
I won't tell anyone.
Even a complex, huh? That has a couple, like 30 units. Technically, that's
Well, we're
36.
102.
Potentially.
102.
Yeah.
We're 102 units.
Oh yeah, you guys got like 2 or 3 tiers, right? Like, isn't there like 3 buildings?
No, we got a
Two.
ton
Oh, is
of
it?
buildings. Yeah, we have.
I should probably know that.
15 seconds.
Yeah,
We
we're-
talk
we're
about
getting there.
Good.
We're getting there. It's-
Well, I'd like to
10 seconds.
spend money with people I like.
no doubt.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Business and More. I'm your host, Greg Moore. Today we have Ryan Marten in studio with us. We're going to talk to him today for about an hour. He is an account executive with Spectrum. Is it Spectrum Charter, Ryan?
Yeah,
Charter
we could call it
Spectrum?
that. Charter Spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of knowledge on sales, on networking, on pipeline management, all the good stuff that we like to learn about when we own a business or we're an influencer in our business. So, Ryan, why don't you give us a little introduction of who you are, what you do, and kind of maybe the territory that you cover here in Monroe County?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me on here. Glad I could get on here. I know it was hard to get a hold of me. My agent was it was tough.
You guys
but
have
I
agents
fit
over
you-
there,
I fit you-
Spectrum,
I
huh?
fit you guys in, yeah. That's a good job. Yeah, I work for Spectrum Business, Monroe County. I cover various other counties, a couple cities north of Ann Arbor, a couple cities just south of Flint. So pretty wide territory. I'm the local business account executive, so direct sales, so going out door to door,
Okay.
calling people. each month.
And you're mostly on the commercial business side, correct?
Right.
So you would be providing services to businesses, standalone, strip malls, anything
Yep.
that's commercially zoned probably or a business. You can do in-home business as well?
Yeah, we can do in-home office businesses. For example, I just had like a medical mutual place up in Newport, some gal who needed business service there, and they're paying for that, so that's technically business commercial home office. So,
Okay. What
yeah.
kind of services do you offer? Just so, in case people aren't familiar with Spectrum,
Yep.
what exactly is it that, I mean, you're not,
So
coming to-
so I handle coax.
Okay.
It's not the fiber side for like enterprise-sized businesses necessarily, but coax, internet, cable TV, and telephone. It's kind of a hybrid telephone. It's not your analog, but it's not your digital, but it
Okay.
has all the features of that.
is it VoIP? Is it, do
It-
they still call it that? I've been out of the communications game for a while. What is it called when you're from a coax company when you're getting a home phone or a business phone?
It kind of mimics VoIP.
Okay.
Or some people know it as PBX.
Okay.
So there's over 30 features that you can play with. I know about 5% of them.
Okay.
Because generally people don't really use that many that I deal with from
Yeah.
small to medium sized business. But yeah, that's basically what it mimics is, yeah.
Is there a Spectrum location in Monroe anywhere? Is there like an office or? Because I was always familiar with Spectrum and Charter and Spectrum are the same company, correct?
Mhm,
Or,
right.
so growing up in Monroe County, I was always familiar with Charter and Spectrum. Didn't really know if they had a brick and mortar place in Monroe County. Do they?
They do, yeah. It's on
Yeah.
South Telegraph. It's 1145 South Telegraph. So you can go
Okay.
in there. You can deal with people there residentially. That is my office. You'll never find me there. I never go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do have a place that you can drop stuff off, pick stuff up from.
And you were so you're kind of the sales side of it then. I mean, you're out there managing a territory, promoting obviously the services that you provide. What would you know, if you're looking at a small, now do you service small, medium, and large sized businesses, or what is your kind of your sweet spot that you're looking at for potential clients?
Yeah, I mean anywhere from one employee up to 10 to 15, that type of business.
Okay.
I do work with some larger businesses. It just depends on what they're looking for, and if they're wanting to get more into the traditional fiber side, then we have enterprise people for that.
So I'm always interested in this too with small business owners, and it sounds like small to medium business owners is what you're mainly dealing with. What are like the most popular services that you're providing to them that they're needing right now? Is it just strictly internet? Are a lot of small business providers going with multiple services? I mean, what are you seeing out there in the field?
Yeah, I mean with everything in life, obviously moving to internet, you have every device that we have now needs Wi-Fi or needs internet. A lot of people are looking for bandwidth, so that's something that we kind of pride ourselves on, is providing high-speed internet for the lowest price.
Okay.
So traditionally, most people are looking for that, but you can get a phone line. A lot of people still like to have a phone line that they can forward to their cell phone or use for business and list in the yellow pages for free or something like that. So generally, we're selling internet and phone. Some people want the business TV. It just depends on what they're doing, if they have a waiting room or need something like that.
When I first got into real estate, I opened an office in Milan, and I said, how cool would it be to also have a TV in there while I'm in the office typing orders, taking calls, and all I did was watch Tigers games all day. So I actually had to cancel the television.
Well, you wouldn't want to watch them now. So.
No, this was 2012, so they were a couple years off of a really nice World Series run, but I had to cancel that really quick. My production and efficiency went way down when I had the TV playing 24/7 in my office.
Yeah, I don't usually recommend that to customers. Yeah, to throw the TV up there.
Right. So I always like asking this of guests. What got you into this profession or this career, or even just the segment of sales? Because I think you were also in sales with Verizon.
That's correct.
So you kind of have this pretty decade-long history or so of like sales. What gets someone into sales? Like, what do you like about it? Because I'm a sales guy myself. I'm now in real estate. I was in telecommunications for 12 years. I thrive in that kind of space. So I'm always interested to know like what made you go that way or stay in that?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's probably a combination of the fact that being
That's such a good answer for radio, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah. I
And then
don't
just
know
silence
anybody.
for 30 seconds?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So it's hard to formulate though. I mean, I never thought I'd be sales. I'm like the reluctant salesperson.
Right?
Thought it was terrible. Had all these wrong ideas about it. But really, all you have to do to be good at sales is be good at talking to people.
Sure.
And be relaxed and chill and
Yeah.
sell yourself, because people buy things from people that they like.
Right.
So that was kind of what I learned when I was at Verizon. Being young, obviously, it helps with technology. You know the stuff. You use it every day. It's part of your life. It's
Sure.
integrated. So that's kind of where I just kind of found the niche of really enjoying being able to make my own schedule, go out to talk to people,
Sure.
different places every day. It's not the same. I don't have to clock in and out of a clock.
Yeah.
Have some freedom, some autonomy.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was kind of the thing I really enjoyed about it too, was not only the fact that you can kind of set your own schedule, you can kind of go after what projects you want to go after, but there was a real sense of accomplishment, and I think this is true even in small business owners, influencers, people in sales. We're not just narrowing this down to sales, but a sense of accomplishment when you provide a value or service and you know that you've done a great job. And I think I'd echo you too when you say, probably the biggest thing about sales, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in our second segment, but when you're a business owner or you're in sales or like you said, you're an influencer, one of the most important things that I believe is bringing value to that relationship. So, if you're trying to sell a product or a service, if you can bring more value than what they're bringing, if you have a relationship, a network relationship with two people, and one person's bringing more value, and you're always striving to do that, I feel like that's going to be a lasting relationship. And some people might say, well, I'm working harder than the other person. And it's like, well, that's kind of the point of owning a business or being in sales. It's just trying to outwork, do better, bring more value, which really attracted me to that segment of sales. Another thing that I think you brought up, which is just amazing to me, is I've seen a shift over the last 20 years of in the technology sales space, telecommunication space, kind of where you're at. I've probably seen the average age of executives and sales management team leaders and things like that probably drop 10 to 15 years in age. Like in the 90s and early 2000s, your average age of a man or woman who was overseeing a sales team in that space was probably 45, maybe 48.
Right.
I'm seeing early 20s to mid 30s just because I feel like that generation has grown up with those. Like you said, you just walk into a space that's talking about internet or cell phones or connectivity, and you've already had 18 years of training from birth. You know what I mean? It's not something.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this cool thing where we're seeing a shift too, to where you're seeing younger guys, and I think you're in your early 30s. I think you are. So younger guys that are getting into this space, obviously given some responsibility, given teams, and going out there and just basically crushing it every day. And it is nice, nothing against, I'm not an ageist, nothing against my older sales management guys and girls, but it's a job of energy. If you really want to maintain a pipeline and promote the business and obviously make a living, you're working it all the time. Which is one of the things I kind of find fascinating about real estate and sales in general. But it's not it's a young person's game.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean?
You got to be out there grinding. Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
Yep.
So I think you really hit on a few things that are important, and I wanted to talk to you about pipeline management. We're going to get into maybe networking, all the things that kind of encompass what it is to either be in sales or being a business owner. But we're going to take a quick break. When we do, we'll come right back, more with Ryan Marten, talking business. He's from Spectrum. He does internet, he does phone, he does all those great things that we love and that we need as a business owner. We'll be right back. Sorry, it's a little early, but I figured I'd just cut it there.
No, that was good.
Is that Ralph?
King. Yeah, Dino, the last time I met with him in in my rep, he's like, you might need to look into VPN. And I go,
Right.
You know,
'Cause, you're probably logging in to do stuff from all over the place. I mean,
Yeah, we I schedule the commercial logs from my house. My daughter schedules the music from Detroit because that's
oh,
where
nice.
because it's family owned.
Yeah.
So we're, we don't. This is the studio, but really we have several different locations.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, we use a VPN. I have to log into one every morning, but then I can use everything that I would be able to use traditionally at the office, being hardwired in and stuff.
Yeah, we use TeamViewer. It's a
Yeah.
great connectivity tool. But
Yeah.
Here is my card.
Okay.
And I know that there's fiber optic under this bridge.
Where at?
Under the bridge
Under the
here.
bridge. Okay. Yeah, I was telling Greg. So this project I got approved for downtown was from Front to 6th Street. We were basically just filling in that way where it ended.
Sure.
And then Cass and Washington, I think, are going to be covered, and down to sort of Macomb, maybe a little bit down by the VFW Hall, or the, I always forget.
KFC.
KFC, thank you.
Yeah.
But we had some problems with all the buildings along the river.
Oh yeah.
Getting the right of entry agreements from all the building owners. So apparently there's like some spottiness, because it's going to be finished in about a week or two. There's some spottiness as to whether someone could get it right away. Now it's going to be so close that we already have like a different type of rule for construction, where if like a single site business or like a few of them want service, each one we give an allotted amount of money towards from us to pay for the construction. So each business, if it's a single business, they get $8,000.
Wow.
So if it was like one building down here on the north end of the river, they'll probably be covered easily by that.
Okay.
Even if it's not available immediately in 2 weeks, like it will be for maybe some people on first or second
Sure.
or whatever. So
Well, because we're interested in the business side of it, obviously,
Yeah.
here. We've been here, well, a year from now, our lease is up. So
Oh, really?
we've been stuck with Comcast the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's all people had. I mean, there's a couple people we found down here when we started canvassing the area, and they had AT&T, but I mean, that was like two folks maybe.
Well, these were all wired by AT&T, and
Oh,
the
really?
Comcast guys were like a little huffy.
Oh, really? Yeah, they get that way.
I'm like, really?
Yep, they get that way. I know. I'm trying to work us down into Temperance, into Lambertville,
Sure.
Toledo
5,
eventually.
4,
Good for
3,
you.
2, 1. You're up.
Welcome back to Business and More. I'm your host, Greg Moore. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Today in studio, we have been talking with Ryan Marten, account executive at Spectrum. He does all that good stuff that we need and that we have to have as business owners and, well, actually just humans to function in society. Who can live without high-speed internet and Wi-Fi, right, Ryan?
Nobody can.
Nobody can. Well, maybe a few people, but at least not in America, it seems like. But we were talking in the first segment about what he does. He has a territory that covers parts of Monroe County. He provides high-speed internet, business services to small to medium-sized businesses. And I wanted to talk about and kind of pick his brain on pipeline management in sales. As a business owner, first and foremost, you're kind of always in sales because you're growing your own business. If you're an influencer at your business, you're always trying to promote and grow your business. If you're in the sales segment, you're trying to promote and grow your business. So this kind of goes cross-platform. But pipeline management has always been very important and kind of very hard for me personally. Because I like to say I just have a skosh of ADD. You know,
Sure.
I'm talking to you, and then I see a monarch butterfly, and I'm like, oh, butterfly. And Michelle, our fearless leader and owner of this radio station, we talk about that all the time. It's kind of the same thing. He's got to stay focused.
I can't stop looking at this Ron Burgundy thing.
I know we have the full-size Ron Burgundy staring at us the whole interview. Pretty cool, though.
In fact, I've heard about 5% of what you said.
Right. Where did you get that? Did you purchase that, or was that a gift?
It
or
was,
the Ron
yeah,
Burgundy?
it was kind of a contribution.
So cool.
That's a great contribution.
Yeah, in the studios here at Monroe County Radio, we have a full-size cutout of Ron Burgundy staring us in the face, which is it kind of makes me want to do even a better job.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Love your city.
But pipeline management, and I'll talk about this for a little bit. Maybe you can give me your thoughts on this. It has always been very difficult for me because it really requires consistency. I've talked
Absolutely.
to a lot of people in sales or that have owned businesses, and they start out on fire with maintaining a pipeline, and then kind of, maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, maybe it's 6 months, but then kind of fizzle out on it, because it is a lot of repetition, and repetition is
Yeah.
like my enemy. I like new, I like different, I like things
For sure.
changing.
Keep it fresh.
Anything that's just over and over, right? So I have to
Yeah.
trick myself into feeling like my pipeline management time is something new and different. But for those listening out there that might not be familiar with this term, and people call it all kinds of different things, pipeline management, leads, lead lists, all this kind of thing.
Mhm.
I kind of classify it, I look at it as cold leads, warm leads, past clients, and potential clients. And I kind of group that all together, and then I kind of break them up individually, when I'm maintaining that pipeline. And just to define each of those terms, kind of a cold lead is what you hear the most. I think when people outside of sales or owning a business hear the term cold lead, that's what they mostly associate, right? A cold lead, just
Right,
making a
right.
call.
Yep, just showing up at someone's doorstep randomly.
Show up their
Calling
doorstep,
someone, they have no
random
idea
phone
you're gonna
call. I hate cold lead calling. That's probably my least favorite. One, because I hate when people cold call me,
Exactly,
so I just
yeah.
automatically think that they're going to hate that I'm calling them.
Mhm.
Two, the ROI, the return on investment, is very, very low. Meaning you're going to have to make a lot of cold calls, a lot of door knocks, things like that, to actually get a return on that investment in time.
Absolutely.
And then warm leads would be the second part of that pipeline, which I look at those as friends of family, contacts on social media,
Yeah, referrals.
networking referrals, things like that, right? Those are the ones that obviously I'm much more comfortable with. You've already kind of got a foot in.
Mhm.
Normally my warm leads too, I don't know about you, but my warm leads are usually I've at least either met them in person or had some type of previous contact.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I'm hanging out with my family at the pool. I get a call and it's like, hey, you want to buy some car insurance? And it's like, what? It's Saturday afternoon,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
How'd you get my number,
Like,
right?
how'd you know I was thinking about that?
And I don't want to be bothered. So usually a warm lead for me is someone with a little bit of previous contact. Like I said, referral, friend of the family, friend, or, something like that. Potential clients, that's everyone to me. Now, when you're working with a territory or something like that, for you, or even my limitation in real estate, I'm only licensed in Michigan right now. I'll be licensed in Ohio in a few months, but so I have a limitation of a potential client has to do business in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
So there's some limitations, but essentially that's 90% of the people I meet are potential clients. That's everything from, and this is the salesman coming out of me. That's everything from a wedding. I could meet potential clients, networking event. Should I admit that I picked up a client at a funeral? It was outside, okay? It wasn't actually in the funeral, and it was a friend of a
Did you
friend.
sell him a gravestone, like a little piece of the property?
No.
Okay.
Did that person who passed away have an estate planner? Does he need to? No, I didn't do that. It was a friend of a friend.
Hey man, you're always working when you're in sales.
You are always
Even when
working.
You're not, you're always working.
And then I actually look at my pipeline as past clients too, not just potential, but past. Every year that goes by, I add anywhere from 50 to 100 new clients over the last 8 years. I've got a pretty big list of past clients that I maintain as well too,
Yeah.
because in real estate, my business, they might move, they might purchase a second home, an entertainment property. I mean, they might refer someone to me. So there's a lot of maintenance on my past clients, which I feel sometimes that people in sales forget their past clients. They go, oh, sales done, move on to
Very
the next
true.
person.
Yeah,
I feel it's very kind of short-sighted. So
yeah, you got to kind of maintain that relationship. You got to follow back up. I mean, you never know, like you said, when you're going to get a referral from a past client. People want to know that you're in it for them, not just for yourself for the sale, and then boom, you're gone. So it's important.
Sure. So do you have any, with those kind of four categories, I mean, do you do anything specifically for pipeline management? Do you have a call list that you follow? Do you kind of have a schedule where you might go to certain places? Like, what does it look like for you when you're maintaining a pipeline?
Well, working for a big corporate company, I mean, obviously you get some help there. So we use
Sure.
something called Salesforce. They generate 200 to 250 leads a month. They send them out to me. I've already been through my territory, like up and down. I know it like the back of my hand.
Sure.
So generally when they send me stuff, it's not brand new. So I know, okay, this person has this person does this. No, this is a vacant, empty building. I don't need to go there.
Yeah.
But I have my own Excel sheet too.
Sure.
So basically what I do is I write every person down, categorize them as interested, not interested, various other categorizations. categorize them as ready to be installed. If I do make a sale, I have them
Yeah.
on one side of that Excel sheet. That for me is like the lifeblood of what I do, because that is like that's like looking at a live description of like what's going down in my territory and what's happening for that specific month. That way I have to follow up. I mean, you wouldn't believe how much follow up I have to do.
Sure.
Just to make sure like the services get installed with people sometimes, just to make sure everything goes smoothly, which is part of, taking responsibility for the sale. You're not just there to make the sale, but you're there to see it to completion
Sure.
from beginning to end, because you value your reputation and you value the reputation of your company.
Sure.
So you want people
Yeah.
to trust you. You want people to know that what you're giving them is good.
Yeah.
So I generally use that. I use a little list on my phone. I kind of try to break it up like you said. I don't want to every night go back to the Excel sheet, update it every night, every morning. Go back
Right.
to that. I pull from my phone. I have more, typically more recent stuff on my phone in like a little list I just keep. I have like a little to do, a little have to call today, or follow up in this region or this city or that area.
Yeah.
So kind of broken down like that. But
No, I've done the same thing. I basically run my business from an iPad or my iPhone.
absolutely.
And with that, I even using apps like Salesforce or Evernote. I mean, before I got Evernote, you should have seen my phone. It was just all over the place. I had notes in my notes. I had stuff in my calendar. It was just like, but having one place just to throw something in there, tag it, come back to it,
Mhm.
because that's kind of the hard part for me is the maintenance of it and the
Yeah.
follow-up. One of the big things too is just remembering names and something about a potential client. I might meet someone, talk to them at an event. We'll talk about networking in the next segment. But meet them, talk to them about something. Before I leave that event, I'm in my phone and I
Oh,
have
yeah.
to put down, okay, talk
Put
to
in the
Ted.
person's name, put in the number.
He has
I'm
two
supposed to
he has
call
two
him in
kids
2
at
days,
Michigan
yeah.
State. Call him in 2 days or whatever it is. And I know that sounds very kind of old-fashioned-y and that whole thing of tagging someone with some that you talked about something specific. But I think that doesn't go out of style. I think a personal connection with someone, and it's not just to gain a client or a sale. It's like
Sure.
you'd be amazed by how many people I talk to. It doesn't work out with us in a client relationship, but
Yeah.
then we help each other with something else down the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I had a person that I talked to. I was helping someone up north split some property in the UP, and he wanted to divvy it up and then like build cabins and Airbnb it out. I was just randomly talking to a guy at a networking event. Oh yeah, I know some Amish in Petoskey that build, barns and houses and all this stuff. And from that relationship, helped another relationship that I had, and it was just kind of this weird thing where it's like, I think sometimes if you get into pipeline management and you're just looking at trying to sell something,
Mhm.
it can kind of be short-sighted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said, I'm always trying to bring value to a relationship. There's times that I'll call past clients and provide them something that's not even
Related
real
to what
estate
you're-
related.
Yeah,
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yep.
Be-
Yep.
And they go, okay, Greg's the guy who got that or did that, and then they're calling me with that, and then sometimes my cold leads then turn into warm leads, or
Yep.
warm leads turn into potential clients just because they're calling me back and they're going, oh, thanks for helping me out with this, and I go, so how
Yeah.
you guys doing on your house, or how's the business going? You guys looking for a new spot? And then we're right back into
Mhm.
possibly helping each other out in my industry.
I think the way like salespeople's minds work is sort of like solution based. Like
Yeah,
you're always
absolutely.
thinking of like solutions.
Such a good point.
You're always just like, and you're asking people questions because you generally do care. It's not like you're like facetious or just being fake.
Right.
But you're asking questions, but then you're ascertaining all this information, and then you're like connecting the dots in your own head with all these potential solutions that you have for people based on the connections you have elsewhere. So maybe you're going to go outside the scope of your responsibilities, but you're going to develop that relationship as a whole. You're not just going to be this, hi, nice to meet you, here's
Right.
this, bye, and
Yeah.
cut the relationship dry right there. You're going to develop relationship, and that's what the good salespeople do, and that's what the good people in business do. Because everything's staked on reputation, So,
Yeah. That's such a
word of
good
mouth.
point that you bring that up. I feel like I've never really met, I want to see how I want to say this. I've never, some of the most successful, and we can measure success different ways, but some of the most, I would say, successful and maybe the most level mental health, put together people that were business owners or in sales or influencers in their business were people who, and that were really good at it, were people who were naturally wanted to solve a problem for someone, just like you said. They're like solution based, like, well, how can we fix that? Like, what? and then also curious. I find like people who are naturally curious
Yeah.
are good at sales too, because it's like, well, why, or how can we fix that, or what do you do now? How'd you get in, right?
Yeah.
And I find that, and those are the people I like to be around too. Like
Right.
you and I, we hang out. We're friends outside of our business relationship.
Right.
Which, by the way, just want to get on record. Went golfing with Ryan yesterday. Probably a 40-foot chip shot in the rough onto the green. Put it right in the cup. Beautiful shot. So I'll give you a shout out for that.
Oh,
I don't want to talk about my game.
You got a really nice long putt.
that did not go in, but it was, it was close. But I find that people that are naturally curious and solution-based do really well in both sales and, owning a business. So pipeline management is so important because it's kind of the lifeblood of your business, really.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a combination for me. Excel spreadsheet, cell phone, apps, I kind of do that. And pipeline management goes right into networking, which we're going to talk about in the next segment. So stick around. We have more with Ryan Marten, Spectrum. We're going to talk networking, all kinds of good stuff. We'll be right back. Sorry, I got rambling on that one.
Did we actually keep going there? We actually kept that. Didn't cut that short.
No.
Oh, we're good.
We're good.
This is our last commercial break.
Well, yeah, we just do it at 15 and then out, right? Or 45 and then out.
No, we just.
Oh, we're not going to do
we
another
only
one?
have two. No, we only have two.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Half an hour straight, man.
There's no
Get
thirds.
rambling.
There you go.
I didn't see any of that where they just.
Did he stack them on top of each other?
I assume so. Yes. There's a
We're
only one at
supposed
10:15 and then one at 10:45, and that's.
Joe Liggett called me.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Joe called me. Let me.
I didn't even look
did it?
until last break, so that's a good time. I didn't
3
even-
minutes.
Because we're supposed to have
Dude, this really has to be a buck call.
like
A
3.
3-minute voicemail.
Remember, you want me to play like 3 or 4 and then
You
do
do
one
like
at
7
10:45,
seconds.
or
No.
no, just play it.
So you want to do another break or no?
Yeah, we're gonna do another
At
break.
10:45?
Mhm.
Okay.
So do you want me to just play a couple and then play the rest at 10:45? Because we don't have another break.
Okay, after this, go back live. This is the third commercial. We're supposed to be doing 3 in a stop set.
Okay. Alright. We got about 30
We gotta do
seconds.
this more often.
Was it a butt dial?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan just got a butt dial from his friend for 3 minutes on a voicemail.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Aren't those fun?
Yeah, I should probably say something about it too, just to embarrass him.
Do you now remember on Facebook Live, so
Joe.
you have to be absolutely honest. Do you listen to the whole voicemail to see if there's anything weird going on in the
I
back?
screen my voicemails. Are you talking in
10
general?
seconds.
Like a butt voice down. Do you listen
Oh,
to the
yeah.
whole thing? So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see if something.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're on.
Welcome back to Business and More. I'm your host, Greg Moore. We're here with Ryan Marten today from Spectrum. We're talking all kinds of fun stuff: high-speed internet, Wi-Fi, pipeline management, sales, best practices, and I wanted to get into networking with you, Ryan, because I think I kind of want to dispel some preconceived notions and maybe talk to you a little bit about what networking looks like, and for someone who's in sales or owns a business. And maybe even talk a little bit about some of the networking events here in Monroe County. I know we've seen each other at Monroe County Chamber of Commerce meetings and their coffee clubs and things like that. But maybe I'll just ask you first, and then I'll jump in. What does networking look like to you, or like what is it to you in your business? What do you do when it comes to networking? Is that one-on-one? Is it group? Is it functions?
I mean, if I'm going to answer that in a general way, I think it's just relationship building.
Yeah.
In my function, it just looks like getting to know everyone that I can, from a city level, from business level, making connections with people in every facet of culture, basically.
Yeah. Well, you want to know what's so great about networking for me is that, first of all, I'm a type A sanguine people person. So I like to be around people. I like to be face to face. Going back to even pipeline management, I'd rather be in front of you at a door on your porch than calling you cold. Even though it takes more work to get to that door, I just feel I do better in front of people. It's very hard
Absolutely.
to have a phone or an email or something like that separate.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, networking events is really where I thrive. And probably some of the best ones that I've found around here, and if you're a business in Monroe County, there's so many. I mean, you have the Chamber of Commerce that will do like an annual stakeout. They'll do coffee clubs. They do all that kind of stuff. I've found actually economic updates that like Monroe Bank and Trust throws. They'll do those twice a year.
Yeah.
That's where basically people who are concerned about business, 200 people in a room, that's a great place to network.
Yep.
I know the young professionals with the Chamber of Commerce, they meet once a month. That's usually under 40. That's another place to network. There's a lot of organizations like Altrusa and Rotary Club and things like that that will allow you to come to meetings and join. And not until I got into local government did I realize that a lot of your municipality meetings, so your township, your city, your village, your county commissioners, your DDA, your Downtown Development Authority, those are good places if you're a business owner or in sales just to show up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you go into those places and you start doing hard sells. Those are good people to know. Those are good people they say, oh, what do you do here? Oh, I work for this, or I do that, or I own that. And I found those places, people who sit on planning boards and make local laws and, all these things. In fact, we were just golfing with someone who sits on a planning commission yesterday. Those are all good ways to get in front of people who are influencers or make decisions in a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying at the top of the show was with networking, I'm always trying to bring more value than the other person. Like I'm trying to, I really compare it to a marriage. Like I heard someone say, if you're married, you should always be trying to outlove the other person. And you're like, well, that sounds like a lot of work. It's like, yeah, that's what marriage is. It's a lot of work. Like, and when you're always trying to outlove the other person or you're always trying to outwork the other person, you're kind of the vulnerable one, but that's kind of the whole point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So when I'm networking and, in my industry, in real estate, I will usually start the conversation with, they'll say, what do you do? Give them the little, 20-second spiel of what I do. And I go, what do you do and how can I help you? And you should see some of the responses I get when they'll go, what do you mean? I say, well, not in just in general, whether with real estate or whatever, how can I help you in your business?
That's
oh, well, question. I'm a team lead at, whatever business and we're having issues with this or that. And if I can bring some value or like you said, solution-based, right? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm bringing value right off the bat. It's not, hey, I'm Greg and I want to help you purchase a house or buy commercial property or sell your, whatever. I don't know. I just kind of feel like sometimes that comes off a little too pushy,
Like we said, it's a different mindset between I want to sell something to you and I want to help you. I want to provide a solution to you. Totally
and getting paid to do that's a nice benefit, right?
Sure.
Earning a commission or a salary or expanding your business is a nice benefit. But once again, I think it's kind of balanced. I look just as much as any monetary benefit. I look at the relationship benefit and the feeling of going, oh, I completed something. I found a solution. I helped someone. They're better off than where they were before they met me, which is such a great feeling, I think. And I don't think you get that in a whole lot of professions.
No.
I mean, you could really strive for that in every profession. But I think sales, business ownership, influencer within a business, those you almost get like that instant, I won't say instant, it sometimes can take a while to get to that, but gratification of helping someone.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So what are some of your, do you do any networking in Monroe County? Have you done any of those groups that I mentioned or like?
Yeah, I've attended a couple Chamber of Commerce events.
Yeah.
I was a part of the B&I group for a little bit. Kind of.
What do you feel about those? I know a lot of people that are involved in those. I've never been involved in one. I've been asked many times.
They're positive. They're good. I had to kind of drop out of it because I didn't honestly want to pay the fee. I was hoping my company would foot that, and I'm sure they will down the road. But the relationships that I did get from that while I attended it, maybe 4 or 5 times, have really provided some good sales and been fruitful.
Yeah.
So they're good. The people in Monroe that run it have really good hearts. They just want to see Monroe succeed and see businesses do well. So.
You want to know what people think networking, and they think like a networking event, and I almost classify this next thing I'm going to talk about into networking. Some people would say maybe it's more pipeline management, but I'm really big on thank you notes. And I think it's because we're
Jimmy
so...
Fallon.
What's that?
Jimmy Fallon.
Right. I think we're so inundated with digital, right? We get, I mean, how many emails do you get a day?
Oh, countless emails.
Probably like 100. I get maybe 150. Half of them are junk. My spam filter hasn't worked in 12 years. Google says it does. I don't know how it gets through. The other 75 are forwards, are, hey, you know,
Right.
stuff that I've done 2 weeks ago, I've already know about,
Right.
reminders, right?
Yep.
So you're filtering through emails. Then on social media, which we haven't really touched on that, which we will a little bit using social media to our advantage. You're getting messages, you're getting LinkedIn stuff, I'm getting Instagram DMs, I'm getting Facebook, right? Tags, all these things.
Yeah. I can't remember what the percentage is on open emails, but it's really low.
Oh, it's dropped. It was,
Yeah, it's
it
incredibly
was,
low.
I think I just read on Business Insider, it was in the high 60s in the late 90s, and it's down to under 6% now.
Yeah.
Because I remember those
10.
two numbers, 60 and 6.
Yep.
So it's very, very low. So I do an email newsletter, but it's only to past clients who know me and
Right.
open it. And I have
Right.
about a 70% open rate. Because they know I'm not going to send them junk. I don't
For
do a
sure.
cold calling email list. It's
Right.
just past clients, hey, just touching base. Here's what I got on the market. Here's what's going on in my life. We already have a relationship. You know, so I look at it more like emails for once a month warm leads. I don't do any cold with email or anything like that.
Right.
I find it useless in my personal life. I just assume other people think it's useless
Oh,
as
for
well.
sure.
Sorry for anyone who runs a email campaign business or anything.
Sorry.
No offense. But I look at writing letters just because we're so inundated with digital. First of all, I get really happy when I get a letter in the mail because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 1925? Did they bring this on a pony? This is awesome. Like
it's
I never
already-
get mail, right?
Yeah.
I think it's part of the allure to why people buy everything on Amazon too. Like who doesn't like getting a package, right?
Yeah.
So I will, when I meet someone at an event or if I have a client that I've closed business with or someone that I just met and we've talked about, I'll write a note. I did this in my campaign too when I ran for county commissioner. I wrote probably 500-600 notes. And it takes a little time, but I'll tell you
For
what,
sure.
I've gotten so many people that will call me or they will ironically email me back and just go, right? Thank you, or message me on Facebook. Thank you for that note. It's nothing elaborate. It's just like, hey, great to meet you.
Yeah.
You know, if
yeah.
there's anything I can do to help, just let me know.
Right.
You know,
But that's stuck. It's nice to know that
it's
that's
stuck. It's different. Not a lot of people doing notes. That and you know, I get a chance to talk to them again because a lot of people who get a thank you note will generally reach out and say thank you.
Yeah.
And now
Well,
they're
it's like
they're
when
calling
you-
me back now. They're
Oh, for sure.
you know what I mean?
It's like when you get a letter from someone and it's signed and it looks like it's actually signed, but
Oh,
you know
I hate-
it's really not. It's like the fake ink look.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang it, I really wish that someone would have
Yeah.
taken the time to really sign that because then I know like it's personal, you know?
It's kind of I laugh at those. It's so funny. I brought that up with my wife. I get these you know, from politicians and all this, and it looks like their signature, but it's just printed, and it's
Yeah.
like, really, just type it at that point. What?
Right,
Are you,
right.
You're not fooling anyone.
Right,
I'd
exactly.
rather be signed.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? To show that,
Yep.
you know, now some people can't do that if you're sending out millions nationwide for
True.
certain things. But, you know, I'm at the point to where I can still sign all my, you know, my
Not dealing with
I'm not
millions.
quite big enough
Yeah.
yet to where I have to print my name for signature.
Only a
But
matter of time.
so I've even seen, you know, little things like that to where I have to, and I really have to set myself down and go, okay, tonight I'm going to write 10 notes, or this week I have to write, you know, this many notes, because it just takes discipline.
Yeah.
Your week can fly by and you go, oh my gosh, I met 18 new people and now I've got to write 18 notes, and that's an hour out of my life, and I've got a family and I've got job and I've got all these different things,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You should
So-
you just have your kids do it for you.
Yeah.
Just put them to work.
That's fun. That's so funny that you'd say that, because every year we have a Christmas party for all the county commissioners, and every year, I don't know, I just kind of started this tradition where I get them all a gift, and it's kind of a gag gift.
Yeah.
You know, last year I got these canvas, these blank canvases, and I had my kids paint self-portraits of all the commissioners based off of the,
That's
you know,
awesome.
based off of the picture they saw on the
Love it.
website, and my
Yeah.
kids were like 9, 7, and 4, so it was like it's hilarious how they
Oh,
interpret
yeah.
these faces, and then gave them away, you know. But it's like, yeah, I put my kids to work all
That's
the time.
great.
I think that's really why my dad started a business, because he was like, I have 2 laborers and my 2 sons for free.
Yeah,
Like
there
for the
you go.
first 8
Yeah.
years, I don't even think I was paid.
Right.
You know, it's like family
Yeah.
business. You're working with me all day Saturday.
Right.
But getting back to networking, like I said, it's kind of that thing where it's not only in person. I think networking also is, like I said, note writing, touching base over the phone, giving them a call. I usually try to follow up 2 or 3 different ways too. Do you do that? Like I'll do an email, I'll do a text, and then maybe make a call, all within a 5-minute span, so it's
Yeah.
not bothering them.
Yeah.
But I've touched all bases.
For me in my line of work, it's a little different because
Yeah.
I don't always have their contact info. So I
Right.
generally have a rule of thumb. If I visit someone, I'll take a day, then visit them I visit them 1, 3, 7 generally. First day, let a day go by,
Okay.
revisit, follow up the third day. give a few days after that, and then a final follow-up. It doesn't always work like that. It's not a science.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometimes you get a one-call close or someone is on vacation, but that's kind of my rule of thumb. But yeah, in between that, I will send an email if I have their contact info.
Sure.
Just to kind of let them know, hey, I'm still here, still thinking about you.
See, that's a good point that you bring up. The time span between first contact and second contact. I always ask salespeople. I had one guy call me at like 9 o'clock in the morning and then 6 o'clock that night. And I was like, dude, I'm still at work. I haven't even time to think about the thing that you offered me.
That's
you know
all
what I mean?
he was thinking about that.
I
whole
feel like
time.
2
He
days
was
is like perfect.
He's like, that's all. He was
Right.
just thinking of you the whole day.
I think like 3 to 5 days is too long. 1 day is too soon. I like that 2 day sweet spot. Like you call them on a Monday, you touch base on a Wednesday or Thursday. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But we're going to talk more about networking. We're going to talk more about how you can get a hold of Ryan, all the different things that he provides and does right after this break. Stick around, more with Ryan Marten and Greg Moore. I almost forgot we were doing that other break. Is that what you were saying behind me? Break?
I didn't say
I was looking
anything.
at the clock.
With you looking at the clock, I don't have to
Okay.
say a word.
That's why you sat over there.
Yeah, that's true. No, I do keep glasses.
Well, with the Pryor and Peroni show, I have to like,
yeah, they're just
slap, yeah. Well, they just get on a tangent, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
what rabbit hole and.
Yeah, you've been doing good at staying off the tangents.
yeah, trying to.
That's all right. I'm not gonna feed you a bunch of tangent fodder.
Oh,
for you to.
Yeah, if you were to go in on like an inside joke or a subject, we would get way off.
You have no idea how much of a temptation it's been.
You can.
I just want to like joke and like.
No, you're allowed to. Do whatever you want, man.
Well, this is a real show about real people.
For sure. Hey Michelle, where's can I get a water?
No.
Okay, thanks.
She's like, the show's free, the waters cost $10.
Yeah. Whoa! They're jumping out at us.
Grab me one too, will you?
You
Right.
want a Diet Coke, Greg?
No, I already had a water. I need to hydrate.
There's a
Yeah.
Coke Zero in there.
No, yeah, with a Diet
What?
Coke. You know, it's when you need caffeine.
No, when you were saying about you can't live with internet, I was gonna be like, yeah, I actually have like an IV for my own internet, my high-speed internet.
Did you get that new chip? Where it's just internet in your body all the time? And like a Jim
Yeah, I
Gaffigan
got
voice?
that. Yeah, I got that Tesla chip that.
Got the Tesla chip? You
know,
have Wi-Fi?
It's like a test. Yeah.
No, it's if you guys can hurry up and call on me, that would be great because Comcast is really. I said, okay, can I have business at my house? Because
Yeah.
no, you can't.
They wouldn't let you.
No, and I said, okay, but I have business here.
Yeah.
So can I have business there?
Yeah.
I mean, I have two businesses.
Right.
No,
30 seconds.
and I went, oh,
Yeah, it was so that gal that I just sold service to was actually a referral. Some lady in Newport works for MedMutual. She's like a home nurse or something like that. She already
yeah.
had Spectrum internet and phone. So even though she had that, they allowed us to sell her Spectrum internet and TV
10 seconds.
for business
Business.
class. Yeah.
that's all I need is business because it goes there,
5,
and then I have
4,
to come here. I'm like,
3, 2, 1. You're on.
Welcome back to Business and More. I'm your host, Greg Moore. We have Ryan Marten in the studio today, and we've been talking all kinds of fun business best practices. We've been talking about pipelines. We've been talking about cold calls
Delicious.
and warm leads and networking and all those things that influencers, business owners, people in sales that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Before we get out of here, Ryan, as we come towards the close of the show, I kind of want to talk to you since we're in the city of Monroe. I live in Monroe County. You have territory in Monroe County. A lot of people watching and listening are from Monroe County. This is called Monroe County Radio. What are some specific areas that you cover? Maybe give us more specific. And then also I want to talk to you about the city of Monroe too after that.
Okay. So my
Just so people know
territory-
where you're at and where
Sure.
Spectrum is available.
Yeah, my territory right now consists of, in Monroe County, you have Erie, LaSalle, Monroe, Carlton, New Boston, little pockets of like Romulus. I think I pretty much covered it all in Monroe County. But
Okay.
and then north of that, I cover Whitmore Lake, Pinckney, Bright House. I'm not Bright House. Brighton Township,
Yeah.
Dexter Township. We're not in the city of Dexter or Brighton. We're not in Ann Arbor. And then I just got some new territory about 4 or 5 months ago. I also cover Fenton and Linden. which is about a half an hour
Oh
south
wow,
of Flint.
Fenton's a drive from here.
That's a drive, man. Yeah. Good thing they pay me mileage.
So, a little off subject, but like when you're driving to Fenton, are you like a like AC/DC playlist guy or a podcast guy?
That's my workout music, but no, actually, no, I do.
What do you do for 2.5 hours in a car? Because that was when I was on the road. It was like
Follow-ups.
Follow-ups?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, good answer. That was a test. You passed.
Yeah. No, it's honestly it's a great time to be able to just call people.
Sure.
In the meantime, do follow-ups, take care of some stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I do like to listen to music podcasts.
Yeah. So, I'm a big proponent of competition, obviously. I think competition in all aspects just makes everyone better. I've actually had 2 of my past clients become realtors, and when I tell other realtors that, and I actually encourage them to become realtors, and they said, why do we want more? I said, because if you're a good realtor, you're never out of business, first of all.
Right.
You always have business. If any profession,
Yeah.
generally speaking, if you're very good at what you do, generally, and you provide more value than what the company's paying you, or that if you own the business, provide value to the client,
Yeah.
you'll always be in business. 2, I want to populate my profession with as many experts and good, I did air quotes there, realtors, and kind of weed the bad ones out.
Yeah.
And
sure.
we can only do that by bringing in more good ones.
Right.
So it's funny when realtors go, well, why do you do that? And I said, well, just like you were saying, I want as many good people in that profession as possible. But competition is good. So I wanted to talk to you about the city of Monroe. We're in the city right now. This is where the studio is located. And you told me something before the show that Spectrum's going to be wiring the downtown or parts of downtown. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I
Yeah.
think if business owners can have more options for internet, I think that's just a better thing all
for
around.
Sure. Yeah. You never want one company with the monopoly, so to speak.
Right.
But yeah, we got a project approved last October to bring service to kind of complete it from 6th all the way down front and kind of cover Cass and Washington. Kind of that general scope of the downtown area that hadn't had service before. So they have been in the process of building that. It's going to be finished pretty soon, is what I'm being told.
Do you have an expected date, or can you throw something out there? Or
they always set tentative dates. They like to
Sure.
under promise,
And then
over deliver.
Yeah.
So tentatively, it was sometime in September. But I was told recently, and of course this is subject to change, but it could be done within a week or 2.
Okay.
So a lot of people
We're getting close.
we had already let know, hey, we're coming down here. A lot of people showed interest. I would say, honestly, on a percentage base, probably 90% of the people we talked to said, yeah, I would switch. I would go
Right.
to the service, just purely based on costs alone.
Sure.
Not to mention other reasons behind
And
that. So.
in your like internet speeds and quality is the same as other companies?
Actually,
right?
it's much faster.
Oh, okay.
And I don't just say that because of Spectrum. I mean, I talk to everyone out there. I know what's going on as far as what other companies offer. I think Comcast, who's our main high-speed internet competitor, I think the fastest business class internet they have is 175 megs. We
Okay.
start at 200
Okay.
for download speeds, which is mostly what's important to people.
Yeah.
We have pretty good upload speeds too. But then we go to 400 and then gigabyte. And this is just like traditional coax lines. This isn't talking about like your fiber,
Sure.
which really gets you fast speed. But
Is that project in the city a coax project or a fiber project?
well, it's a coax project, but I mean, there's fiber laid. So if people wanted to get fiber as well,
Oh, they
then
could.
They could, most likely, yeah. I don't know all the ins and outs, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And you said what's the territory that's from again? Just so I know. Did you say front to
Essentially
6?
front to 6.
Okay,
and
so the
Washington
downtown area.
and Macomb to Cass. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking there would be some, there's quite a few building owners that have multiple units and things like that. You think you'd want to tap into fiber at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even like building we're sitting in here right now with, I don't know, how many units do you think there are here? Maybe 40, 50, 60, 40? I don't know, a lot.
Yeah.
More than 2.
Yes.
Something like this
Sure,
could benefit
right.
from fiber as well too, because for the cost that it takes to run those initial lines. Not to
Right.
get too technical with the audience, but
Yeah.
you divvy that up between so many units. It's
Right.
something crazy. It's
Yep.
it's awesome
Yeah.
to have that fiber.
Yeah, so we're excited to come down. We've got a couple other projects that we're working on as well. Another one that just got approved down the road on North Monroe Street on the just south of the Kmart that's out of business there, the medical complex that's there. That was a recent project
Okay.
that's approved. So a lot of those people, same scenario, only had Comcast. And from there, I mean, really, we're just going to branch out into the neighborhoods and start spider webbing our way out, and all the residents will benefit from that as well. So.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean that's good to know, just because in that downtown area, and I work with people at the Downtown Development Authority in the city of Monroe. Obviously, work with city managers, things like that, and know a lot of the business owners in that stretch too. It's so important that they're trying to develop that corridor, keep it up to date. And I see even, I say little things, obviously it's not little to you, it's your profession, but something like having a second or third choice for internet or phone or telecommunications in an area can be a huge linchpin or motivator in developing a space.
Absolutely.
I'm really big into economic development, obviously, with some boards I sit on and things like that. And the very first thing when I talk to developers are, what's the infrastructure? And when they say infrastructure, sometimes you used to think just roads, like curb cuts and traffic counts.
Right.
When they're saying infrastructure, they're talking about technological infrastructure.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost more important than the roads now
Sure.
to developers. Like if they're coming in and they want to do a strip, or they want to do multiple commercial units, they're looking at me and they're going, what's the technological infrastructure? Do I have nodes close enough to where I can provide fiber and super fast coax and all those things? And you go, oh my gosh, like we can deal with the roads.
Right.
Heck, we'll spend $500,000 on fixing the roads if they let us. I need to make sure that you know what I mean. These regulated telecommunication companies are there, so we can do business. So it's so important to have multiple outlets like that and competition for internet and things like that. So that's exciting for the city of Monroe. Well, we're a few minutes away from the end of the show here. Maybe Ryan, you could give some people contact information, or just let them know how they can get a hold of you if they want to look into your services, if they're a business owner. Like I said, you do the commercial side, so you're strictly business. One of the reasons we brought you in here too, we have a lot of business owners that listen, so maybe just once again give your name, any contact information you feel comfortable with sharing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I mean, you can reach me in a couple of ways. I have a work cell phone. That number is 734-625-5702. Or you can reach out to me via email. I do read my emails, even though I know we talked about deleting them, but if I get a work email, obviously I'm going to check it. That is Ryan, RYAN.Marten, MARTEN, @charter.com.
Cool. And guys, I'll have all those links for those of you watching on Facebook Live in the comments below. And then obviously, if anyone listening on Monroe County Radio wants to reach out to Ryan, they can always call Monroe County Radio or go online to their Facebook page. I know the Monroe County Radio Facebook page has tens of thousands of unique followers, and they're very, very vigilant at responding to you and always bringing us some breaking news. I know I follow them quite often, just so I know.
They do a great job.
So
Michelle
I know
actually became my agent while we were sitting here. So.
Oh, actually, what was the percentage you worked out? Because she's charging me 20. Did she only
I'm getting a
quote
lot
you 10?
more than
Good Lord.
Well,
All right.
I have to work harder for you, Greg.
I think she values what I'm providing her more than what you are.
Okay, last question. This is just a fun one because I like to ask everyone this that I meet, especially in the social media space, before we get out of here. What, for business now, not for pleasure, for business, what is your favorite social media app to do business on?
Oh, that's a terrible question to ask me.
I know it's a terrible question, probably because you have like 19 that you're doing. You probably on some you're like, hey, Ryan's always come to me with like new cutting edge stuff. He's like, have you heard of Flicko? It's awesome. You flick and then you get a referral. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? I've never heard of this. So like, what's your, I mean, are you like a LinkedIn guy, a Facebook guy, an Instagram guy? Like,
honestly, I prefer Facebook and Instagram. I'm not really huge on LinkedIn. I kind of get annoyed by LinkedIn.
It's so busy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so busy, and it's almost like the junk email of the business social media app, right? Because it's like everyone wants to be your friend on there. And honestly, my profile's probably not been updated in like 10 years.
Right.
So people probably still think I'm like this 21-year-old loser that's working at some place that has no like random job.
Hey, now you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. But honestly, I really probably could use social media a little bit more than I do now. But I just prefer, I don't know, I just prefer like engaging type things. So I'd rather post like a cool photo of something.
Sure.
And then have someone be interested in that than like just have a bunch of boring business information about me and like, oh, look at my qualifications.
No, I think I'm right there with you. Facebook and Instagram. I mean, I built my business on Facebook for about 8 years. I never paid for advertising. I tell people if I didn't have Facebook, I probably wouldn't be in the business I'm in right now. Yeah. It was friends of friends. It was posting things. And then obviously Instagram with hashtags is awesome. I would literally hashtag something about real estate do it by a geo search, find someone in Monroe County or a certain area I work, and I'll DM them and just go, hey, love that post, love what you're doing. I see that you're an influencer. You've got 10,000 people following you. If I can help you in any way, here's something I offer for free, or let me know. And I've had people actually, just from a hashtag search, come back, hey, yeah, I'm looking at this or that, or you know what I mean? So different ways of just getting in there, and that hashtag makes it so fun. So Ryan, I just want to thank you for being on the show today. We talked all kinds of fun stuff. I hope it was beneficial to the listeners out there, whether you're a business owner, like I said, whether you're in sales, whether you're an influencer at your place of business and in your career. Ryan, thanks for coming in. It was fun. And thanks again for all of you for listening and joining in and listening to an episode of Business and More. Have a great day, guys. Good? Cool.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for watching, guys.
That was fun.
So if you cover